can you talk about the different roles that music has played in your life from when you were a child and as you were growing through adolescence and into adulthood?
Well, I think the thing that really always make me laugh when my father said that is that my father used to say to people, I start singing before talking.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as he can recall, I always have been singing. So I think it comes from the fact that in the womb of my mother was music all the time. And researchers have shown that we have memory even in the womb of our parents.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that my father played the banjo, sings with my mother. My mother used to play clarinet, and she has passion for theater.
Mm-hmm.
So till today, as we speak it right now, she's the only woman in all West Africa that have started a theater group large as with 70 people, 72, 75 people. She wrote the piece, directed it, studied light, costumes, and does everything 360. And as a child, for me, it was like Alice in Wonderland, because you see the people rehearsing in the theater, and then when they start playing, you're like, I know that voice, but that person is in the costume. I mean, when you're a kid, you start trying to figure out what is going on.
Right.
And I knew all the part of the theater. I mean, even the speaking part, the singing part, I know all of it. So basically, I grew up learning and hearing and memorizing music as it played. So I have sung my whole life. I went on stage, I was 6 years old, because I used to bug my mother about the little girl. There's a little girl the same age as me that would always sing, and I said to my mom, but I know that song, why can't I sing the song? And my mom would say, because you're not playing the part, it drives me crazy. And I'm like, what is the part? I want to be part of this. Right. And one day she was playing, and I say, lucky for me, the girl has malaria crisis. She didn't come. And as usual, I'm always, because my mom is the one woman show. Every scene has different costumes. So before she started, she laid them out, scene by scene. And I would always be trying the costumes on or laying in between them and hiding. Mama would be looking for me, you never find me.
Right.
So, and I was in the middle of the costume, and then somebody grabbed my ankle and dragged me out. And it was my mom. Mom said, you want to sing? You singing today? I said, no, Mom, I ain't doing that. She said, yes, you're doing it. By the time I was saying, Mom, I can't do that, she put the costume on me and shoved me on stage, and I was like, for the first time I had noticed that I have a skeleton, because I can literally hear all my bones shaking. And my mom sat there looking at me. I'm like, Mom, what am I going to do? But it was dark in the room. There was only one spotlight, and everybody's laughing because they thought it was part of the show, because it was funny. Me, I didn't find it funny, but the public find it funny. And then I'm like, I can't see them, so therefore, why don't I do my goofy stuff that I do home? I just sing. So I start singing, I sang my song, and then turned right back when I finished. I had a standing ovation. My mom said, go back. I said, no way, I'm not going back. Mama said, but they're clapping for you, go back. I said, I'm not going back there. That was my first experience with music empowerment, and it makes you feel not powerful, it makes you feel humble. Because at that age, I could not understand what it was. But when I went to bed that night, I said to myself, I want to be on stage every day. And my mom said, you got to go to school. I said, oh, school is boring. But I got to go anyway.
Right.
That's why I started.
Now, what about as you continue to grow older? Like, in teenage years, music changes, what it means to us and the experiences that we have growing up, and then into adulthood.
But I think that music is part of the DNA of every single human being on this planet. Because the history of my ancestors were not written in pretty much every part of Africa, at the exception of Egypt, where they have hieroglyphs. Everything was oral, storytelling and singing at the same time. So I started learning about who I am, who my ancestors were, the story of my country through songs. And one thing that I remember vividly was a day, I was around 9, 10 years old, and I was in the village of my father, and everybody was dancing, and I sat down and I listened to the lyrics. the lyrics were kind of gruesome. And people are dancing. I'm like, I went to my uncles that was singing the song. I said, Uncle, why are you dancing on these gruesome words? Why people are having fun? And my uncle said to me, there are hard things that have to be said. And the only way to get the message across sometimes is through music. While people are having fun, the music sinks into them. The role of an artist is not to lecture people or to make people feel guilty. It's to give them facts, to give them the story. And what they decide to do with it later is on themselves. And that's the empowerment of music. You cannot tell people what to do with the music. They like it or not. That is the freedom. So I learned from very young age how important it is when you're an artist to be careful of what you say or what you sing, because you impact people's life on a real time. So it's, for me, music has always been that vehicle to tell the story of us, to build bridges, to bring people together, to understand that this, as my father and mom always used to say, till my father passed away in 2008, he never stopped saying to us, a human being is not a matter of color. If you get stuck on the color, you lose greatly. Right. The only person that is hurt is you.
Right.
So,
you know, we're here at the Grammy Museum Experience at Prudential Center, and so much of the work that's done here has to do with showing children and showing students the variety of music, the many different genres, and the many different aspects of music. Singing, songwriting, music, instrumentation, right? Can you talk about how important it is, especially for children, to be exposed to varieties of music, to the vast array of music?
For me, to expose children to the variety of music is already giving them the sense of how complex our world is, and yet close to us. I've traveled when I was listening to music. Music as a young girl have allowed me to go to school, because what was going on in my life when I was going to school is I was born in a family of 10 kids. Okay. So every grade has come before me. Okay. So every summer, my father was always say, you gotta do homework, you gotta learn about what is good. So my father is music, sport, and books. You gotta read. You can't be sitting around doing nothing. My father said, you killing your brain, just do something. All right. So I would spend the time to learn pretty much all the program before I get to school. So I get bored. Okay. And I get bored because sometimes the teacher is saying something, I'm like, this is not the right answer. Sometimes I get punished for it because I can keep my mouth shut, of course. And music has always been coming to my rescue, because thinking about music and singing in my head allowed me to memorize math. Right. I mean, multiplication, division, all those kind of stuff. And I put it in song and I memorize it quickly. And also, especially today, we're living in a world that is so challenging and changing every time. I mean, every second something is happening. Right. The only way to give our children, especially in this country, a strong identity of American, what it means to be an American person, is through their own culture. Because in this country, we have so many different genres of music that if we do not make the effort to teach them what have come before them and what they can participate on, how they can become a different artist, to take from the past and go to the future. Why are we here? I mean, for me, it's always about passing on. We have to exchange all the time. What has been given to you, you have to give back. Right. And if you don't give back, you don't get. You're not rich when you don't give back. Right. So for me, music in school is really important, because I do music also in school. And coming back home and comparing music, how my teacher is talking about music, and to really live the music itself, to really sing it, to own it, and to really make it mine. Mine is really important, because music has brought me also to understand the challenges of the world and the struggle of communities. Through music, I heard the first time I was 9 years old, the word slavery, and I couldn't make any sense of it. When my grandmother tried to explain to me, I'm like, how can my mom and dad say to me, a human being is not a matter of color, and other human beings by other humans. I mean, I'm like, oh, I was 9 years old. I'm like, that doesn't make no sense. And for me, at that point, I said to myself, my grandmother's losing her mind. She's going, senile. I mean, she's not for real. And I turned 15, and TV started rising in Africa. And the biggest country next to my country is Nigeria. And they have TV before we do. So I was watching the TV, and here come Winnie Mandela talking about Nelson Mandela. And then I turned around, and for the first time, I've disrespected my parents. It never happened to me before. I called them liar because I said to them, you told me that color is not important. But yet, if you're black, your color is a liability. How can you be lying to me like that? And I went to my room so mad, so hurt. And I wrote a song that I called The Day Will Come. And my first draft out of my pen was so hateful. And my father said to me, when I was singing the song to my father said, okay, I understand how you feel. I understand everything you want to say. But under my roof, there's never going to be hate. There's never going to be violence. There's never going to be racism. There's never going to be xenophobia. There's never going to be anti-Semitism. In this house, I never taught you hate. I never taught you violence. Whatever you feel, as an artist, you have the duty. And you have completely the right to be the person that opened the doors that are closed, not to indict hate or violence. It's not your job. So I went back and rewrite it and make it an anthem of peace. And I was 15, and that had transformed completely the human being that I am today. That's why I do all those things that I do. I am a Goodwill ambassador of UNICEF, and I have my own foundation for teenagers. I campaign for women empowerment. I was at the G7 where I asked the president of France, because he was asking how can we help the African women. I said to get them out of poverty. Microcredit is now working to the extent of reducing drastically poverty, because the women of the market, when they go to the bank, they are not welcome because they have no collateral. And we have law of heritage that doesn't, allow them. The gap between male farmer and women farmer in terms of income is 15.6 billion. Men make more money than women. And every year, all over Africa, women of the market generate $2.5 trillion that is nowhere to be found. So the women will come to me and say, we need loans that allow us to pay back, to invest in our business, to send our children to school, and to have a decent life. If we do not find a way to give loan to the women of the market, they are the one at the center of peace, security, gender equality, we all lose, because we're going to have more and more immigrants going everywhere looking for a better life, which is an instinct, and not a human instinct to want to have a better life. So for me, it's always finding a solution within the continent. With partners. We don't need charity, because Africa is the richest continent on the planet. All the resources that is needed today to build electric car are in Africa. So how do we all together find partnership to create a world where our children don't go around thinking that their life worth nothing? My concern is that I can't phantom violence. I can't stand it. I just can't.
You know, that takes me to the next question. You've seen so much, you've experienced so much, and you traveled and you've seen it all across the globe. There's a saying, there's a belief that ultimately there are only two motivations, love or fear. Can you talk a little bit about how important it is to be motivated by love?
Well, it started home. I'm going to say again, my father always used to say, fear is just cowardness. We've been to this, from since we have been on this planet Earth, we have been afraid of love, because love demands work. Love demands selflessness. Love demands also that in grief there is love, in loss there is love, in pain there is love. In fear, it's a void. Fear is always the solution of the coward people. And when you have fear, you don't create anything. You create void, because you're empty. And to be able to to choose. We all know that every coin has another face.
Right.
And life is like that. When you are born, you come to life with life on one side and death on the other side. We all come with a date of expiration. That's the way it is, and we can be the richest person in the world. We can do whatever we want, black, white, yellow, red. Your day will come and your day will come and you go 6 feet under.
Right.
But the time you have here on earth, how do you use it?
Right.
We have the choice, love or fear. And I've been raised in a family full of love and support. How can I one day choose fear?
Right.
I've never been afraid. I'm not afraid of any human being. I don't care if you're the president of this country or so.
Right.
I do not care because you are a human being, because you have a father and you have a mother, as much as I do. And your skin color, I do not care at all, because I have a brain and you have a brain. My father always used to say, your brain is your ultimate weapon.
Right.
It has no gender, it has no color, it has no nationality, it has no language. That's what it is. As long as we can talk to each other, and that's where I stand. I don't care if you hate me, we can talk.
Right.
As long as we can talk, I'm okay.
Well, I thank you for this talk.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And welcome to Newark, and I'm so glad.
Oh, well, I'm always so happy to be here.
Yes, yes.